All right, you've seen some basics on how to do sky replacements in Photoshop. Let's now get knee-deep into the weeds and do some advanced sky replacements by using two images in the same sky to create a more dramatic result. And you may or may not like what we end up doing, but it just goes to show you what you can do when you let your imagination go and when you understand how Photoshop works and how to use the blend modes. Let's go ahead and repeat what we've learned in our previous lesson. We'll go up here to Edit, Sky Replacement, and I've already chosen this image right here to put in the sky, and I'm gonna flip this because it's got to match the direction of the sun as we have learned, and I can do some adjustments on this. I think one of the things I want to do is bring this down some. I don't want it to be quite so near the top of the image. Now we don't have any room to the left and we don't have any room to the right, so we're pretty much limited right here, just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and shift the edge. And we're going to bring that down just like that, just to kind of get rid of some of that ghosting that was surrounding the mountains. And we can do that right there. And this is all subjective, so I'm doing stuff that looks good to my eye. Now, the way it went in there, this rainbow just looks a little bright. So let's bring the darkness down. And we can do other things later. Really, the only way you should do sky replacement is in Photoshop. Luminar AI is okay. It's great for quick and dirty, and if you don't need the precision, if you don't really want to tweak an image to its maximum, it's okay. But Photoshop really gives you so many more options to do things the way you really should do. Color adjustment on the foreground. Let's go ahead and run this to here. I want that to stand out, so I'm going to slap that all the way to the left. The lighting adjustment is light or dark. I'm going to leave that in the middle, and so far so good. Now, as we have seen, when we click OK, it places the entire shooting match into new layers right here. Here's the layer stack, and this is how the image is stacked in the layers. Now we can click on the background image located right here, and we can do things to it, which is what we're going to do. In fact, we can come up to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, and I can add some clarity. You can add a little bit of dehaze, which I think looks real good. Now you can see that this rainbow is taken in Monument Valley in northern Arizona. We're just using it as a replacement for the sky in the Dolomites of northern Italy. So let's go ahead and hit OK, and I think that looks a little better. Okay, now we're going to get hardcore. I'm going to go into Bridge, and I'm going to a directory of my skies. These are my collection of skies. Let's take this one. So we'll double click and we'll put it in there. Okay. Now we'll go back to Photoshop, and what we're going to do, let's go back to this image. What we're going to do is we're going to introduce these two images in the layer stack. So we're going to get the Move tool, the cursor inside the floating image, hold down the Shift key, drag it over, and drop it in. And you can see how it looks. All right, let's do this one. Shift, drag it over, drop it in, and it replaces. And we're not done yet, so don't freak out. Okay, now we have these two images right here that basically are superseding this image here that has the mask on it. And of course we can rearrange these two. And I'm going to bring this one up somewhat. Now this thunderstorm sky was taken in Arizona, New Mexico actually. Let's look at this image and reposition it. Let's put it right there, just like that. Now we're going to come to the blend modes and go all the way down to overlay, just like that. Now look at how these two images combine with each other. Now the opacity is at 100%. If you want to decrease the influence of that other image, you reduce the opacity. If you want to increase the presence, then increase the opacity, obviously to a maximum of 100%. But look at how the sky interacts with this rainbow. I mean, it just adds so much more drama. And we can continue to tweak this image, and we'll go up here to image adjustments. And again, this is all subjective, and you may or may not like anything I'm doing here, but at least you know how to do it if you get this creative burst right there, just like that. Man, I'm liking that. That's just really tremendous. Now let's activate this image, and we're going to blend it. Let me choose it first, and then we're going to blend it. Boom. We're really going to reduce the opacity because it is dominating the image. Now, again, you may or may not like this at all, but there it is. Now, the problem you have is you have really too much stacking up here, and you might get some posterization over here in this section of the image. So you do have to kind of be careful with what you do. So let's reposition this one and put it down here just like that. And we can see that if we disconnect this image right here, let's reposition it, and all by itself it adds drama to the image. And we can increase the opacity, and see we're getting posterization right here on the blending. So let's go from overlay to soft light, and I think that helps. There you go. That's all the difference in the world. And we can do that. Man, that looks good. That really does look tremendous to my eye. And then we've got this right here, and we can combine them. Of course, I don't like it the way it looks when it's combined, but there it is. You can do it if you want to. So let's take this one out. I think they look good by themselves, but not combined. And then we can take this image and let's darken it just a little bit, just to see, just a little bit right there, just like that. And let's reintroduce this one. And man, I'm liking that. That's just really, really good. But I don't like it darkened. I think it looks better back the way it was. So let's bring it back. Just like that. Now let's take this one. And we darkened this one before, and I don't think it looks good when we darkened it. So let's go ahead and lighten it again. Do that right there. Let's bring that up like that. And, you know, just any little tweak that you make, you may like it, you may not. One person would go one direction, another person would go in another direction. So just whatever it is you want. Now let's take this one. This is the foreground element, and I'm going to increase the vibrance. I'm going to run this up to 50, and then I'm going to just boost the saturation because I want that illuminated sunset peak to stand out a little more. And click on it, and boom, there you have it. So combining sky replacement images and then seeing what you like in the blend modes can really extend your creative capabilities and do sky replacements in Photoshop.